Just giving them the business.
Welcome to the Five Arms and a Lucky Fin podcast. I am your host, Brendan McCormick, with my partners, Jason, aka Lucky Finn, and DJ Viral Sensation D Soul, David Soloway. A lot of great football has happened in week 2. We had Michigan versus Oklahoma. Mississippi State with a late miracle over Arizona State. Woo! I'm ready to kick things off and get things started with you boys. First off, let's look at the AP poll that recently came out. A lot of jumps here and there. Probably the biggest one we've ever had so far in the AP poll. South Florida, our boys, not ranked, making the hop in the top 25 to 18. What a big win that was over their in-state rival against the Florida Gators. And me, David, Jason, all talked about the type of defense that they had. Lagway did nothing, and it was very impressive performance by South Florida. Also, another big jumper, Florida State reaching their way up in the top 10 right now. Also, Oklahoma, obviously beating Michigan, moving up in the AP poll. So, moving to 13. So, boys, what was your overall take of week 2? Who are your surprises and who are your dumpster fires?
It was a good week. One big surprise, Clemson. Now, maybe it's a letdown after that week 1 loss against LSU, but looked really bad against Troy. One thing, though, with the AP poll that I have to call out here, Tennessee beat Eastern Tennessee State, or whatever their name is. Sure, they crushed them. They jumped up 7 spots. How does that make any sense? Yet there's other teams. Another one's Utah. Utah jumped up 5 spots, even though they played Cal Poly. Florida State jumped up 4 spots by playing East Texas A&M. That's not even a real school. They just threw on a direction to Texas A&M. The voters have a problem, but it was a good week.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway right here is South Florida jumping not into the top 25, but jumping up into number 18. And I'm surprised, David mentioning how they moved up 7 spots. Missouri beat Kansas, and I think that's a pretty good win. And they're just slipping into 25. So that's a little strange for me. If you're going to move Tennessee up 7 spots, I'm interested why Missouri is just hitting in and at 25. I mean, do we think Tennessee is that good? Like, David couldn't even say the name of the school right. East Tennessee State. Like, we don't even have to remember the school. They're a basketball program. They're a mid-major. We think about them. So yeah, a little strange for me. Those are my big ones. And then you could say the same thing about Florida State, like David was mentioning. Those were my biggest takeaways.
I'd like to call out Illinois right now. What have they done? Okay, you beat Duke on the road. Congratulations. Is that a good win?
They had the most impressive win of any team in the top 25 this week. Agree or disagree?
Who is this? Sorry, I was not.
How good is Duke?
Illinois.
That is my question.
Duke might not be great, but how many other teams played a Power 5 team on the road and won?
Dude, Duke's not a bad opponent to go on the road and beat. I mean, Duke on the road is not easy. We've seen a lot of good teams go in there and struggle. I'll tell you that.
I think Illinois is the most overrated team in this AP top 25. There you go.
Real quick, I'm just seeing this. So Notre Dame doesn't play anybody and goes up a spot. Georgia and Oregon flip because why does Georgia drop 2? Why doesn't Georgia just push Miami down 1? I mean, they both played mid-major basketball programs. Well, why did Georgia drop 2 spots? Because I guess because Miami beat Notre Dame and Georgia played Marshall last week. I guess that would be the only thing. And I mean, Oregon put a beat down on Oklahoma State, but do we expect Oklahoma State to win 4 games this year? Probably not. So, what does that even translate to? But honestly, I mean, LSU only winning 23-7. You can almost say Oregon could have went above them. So, I mean, obviously, no, I was busy. I didn't get to watch the game, but 23 points is not a lot. I think it shows LSU's defense still probably looks pretty good, but that offense is a little scary after 2 weeks, and especially when you got a quarterback who's supposed to be some top 15 pick or top 10 pick, whatever, who depending on who you talk to, right, Brendan? And then a guy who's supposed to be in the running for the Heisman. 23 points against Louisiana Tech is not good early numbers to add to your pad your Heisman resume for when you got the gauntlet of the SEC schedule coming up. So it's a little weird for me.
Speaking of schedule, I feel like Baylor's getting disrespected a little bit. They go on the road and beat SMU, and my boy Sawyer Robertson, Lubbock, Texas native, does not get talked about enough. Had a absolute day, and no one from the media is talking about this. I've seen nothing.
It's true. And you know why that is? The media these days love to focus on what teams are going to make the playoff. That's really all that matters. And I hate it. College football is about so much more than the playoff. Baylor's not going to make the playoff. They lost to Auburn in week 1. But you look around the country and there's so many important storylines that don't just matter for the playoff. Baylor, 2 OT win against or at SMU, a playoff team from last year. Yeah, they lost week 1, but Sawyer Robertson, like you said, absolute dog this week, and he leads them to the victory. Another storyline like that is Mississippi State beating Arizona State. Mississippi State is not going to be in the SEC race. They're not going to make the playoff. There's no chance. They're going to lose 6, 7, maybe 8 games. But for this week, it's a huge story, and the fans there have some hope, and they have something to look forward to in the future, which they didn't have a year ago. And I think that college football is about so much more than just the playoff, and people need to start talking about those storylines that aren't on the playoff teams.
Yeah, you were talking about Sawyer Robinson. I mean, I saw he had over 400 yards back-to-back weeks, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions last week, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions this week. And I saw something earlier that said possible hidden gem for Heisman if he keeps this up. I mean, there's no telling. There's no telling how high it could go. And like you said, David, nobody's talking about it, but they should be. And that's why we are.
That is
Yes,
exactly why we are, Jason. That is exactly why we do this podcast, because we talk about things that matter in sports. Bam.
And you want to talk about another big game from this weekend, Iowa State. Like David was saying, college football is more than just about a 12-team playoff. It is about tradition, historical rivalries. You know how upset people are because of all the conference realignment messing up with all of the rivalries? We have rivalries that have been going on every year for over 50, sometimes even 100 years, and we're just going to not have them anymore because some TV broadcast said they're going to go join a different conference, and we're not going to worry about that anymore. People care about that. Sometimes that's the only game they care about. I've seen people say, hey, you know what? I don't care if we lose every game, but if we beat so-and-so, that's all I care about. That's what college football is about.
I mean, just like this weekend, Kansas and Missouri haven't played in a while, just played again. And that means a lot that means a lot to a lot of people in those states. And it was awesome to see that game. And, a lot of rivalry games, just like Purdue and Indiana, we could have the crappiest season of all time. And if we beat Purdue, it's a successful season. Same thing with Michigan and Ohio State, hate each other. If they beat each other, it's a successful season. So that is exactly why college football is college football. And these media people, in my opinion, aren't valuing the sport the way it should be.
Call them out.
Yes, you can talk about Arch's arm and wincing and thinking he's hurt and has a torn labrum and all these different hot takes that you can say. But talk about things that matter.
Yeah, I mean, we see it. We see it every
And-
year when Michigan beats Ohio State. They don't care about anything, but they'll always sit there and dog y'all can't even beat Michigan. Y'all can't beat us, and we weren't even good last year. Those kind of comments. I mean, that's people live for that.
Yes. What were you gonna say, David?
Yeah, my bad.
I don't really remember, but no, I do remember. You know what I was going to say? There were so many games this week that did not matter at all. And it's not just Power 4 schools playing Group of 5 schools. This week was so many FCS games that literally do not matter. It's only a risk for these possible playoff teams, these top 25 teams. Like Florida State playing East Texas A&M. We'll go back to them. I'm going to keep calling them out because that's not a real school. Them playing them, the only thing that could happen out of that is losing one of your best players, losing starters, losing key players to injury. You're going to beat them 100 times out of 100. They won 77-3. I get it. East Texas A&M gets a payday out of it, but there's so much more to the sport than these top teams, when these top teams especially are going to play these schools that don't exist just to get a win on their schedule.
David brought up East Texas A&M. I want to spit out some random fun facts about East Texas A&M.
Love this.
Before East Texas A&M was known as East Texas A&M, they were Texas A&M University at Commerce. So they are what everybody knew as Commerce at A&M. I still don't know if you knew what that was because I didn't. They have over 12,000 students. They have a 19-to-1 student to faculty ratio. And they just changed their name to East Texas November 7th of 2024. So this is new information for them.
Did they have a reason to change the name?
It just says it just says that the board approved the name change, and it's the most recent change in the institution's history. I don't see any reasoning around it other than maybe they wanted a direction in their name.
I mean, every good school has a direction in their name, so.
Yeah.
It's true. There's a lot of directional schools. And you know, all these, even in college basketball and college football, everyone wants to play the directional schools to kick them off, get warmed up a little bit, take the money. So, you know, don't really blame them for doing that sometimes because, you know, as we've learned in some of the polls, does it really matter to play someone good in the beginning? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Could go either way. Could hurt you. Could help you. But I'm in the middle on that.
I want you guys to take a stab at this without looking at the top 25. How many schools in the top 25 are a directional school?
Am I taking a stab at it without looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look, you would know the answer.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna guess so. I'm gonna go with 3.
All right, what you got?
1.
It is 1. It's South Florida. Technically, South Carolina does have South in it, but that's the name of a state. That doesn't count.
No, that's the name of the state. I thought it was 1. That's very interesting.
David, you were asking why they changed their name. So I did a little research. It says that the reason they even started looking at this was the summer of last year. They wanted a name change for the university that would more accurately brand the school and reflect the university's mission to recruit future college students in the DFW as well as Northeast Texas, DFW area. So apparently the original first proposal was that it would be Texas A&M University, Dallas, which
sounds so much
to
better.
establish stronger ties to Dallas County and the Metroplex. But the university president announced on social media last August that he could not support the option of changing the name to A&M University, Dallas, not now nor in the future. This is what caused the groundswell. That's a weird word, groundswell, of support to groundswell of support to change the name to East Texas A&M University, which was the name that had been voted on by the students and alumni when the university joined the system back in 1996. So, because the A&M school university system.
Shout out East Texas A&M.
Do you know what their mascot is?
A bear.
I saw their logo. It's a lion.
I believe Texas Tech played them last year in basketball.
They are the Lions.
Yeah.
Do they have lions in East Texas?
No.
Maybe at a zoo, right? Maybe at
We
a
got
zoo.
the ocean.
Yeah.
We got the ocean.
That's not an ocean.
What the heck? It's the Gulf.
We got the ocean.
I guess you got the Pacific over there if it's close enough.
That's what I'm saying.
Where you're at. Yeah, I guess.
You know what doesn't have the ocean, Jason? The
Kansas?
dog of the week.
Oh,
Going to the dogs of the week. We either choose a player or a team. Dog of the week. Mine was Blake Shapen of Mississippi State. Had a last-minute 58-yard touchdown bomb to take the lead against Arizona State. Former Baylor transfer as well. Very interesting, Blake Shapen. But what a throw by him. What an effort by Mississippi State overall. And what a game. That is my dog of the week. David, what is yours?
My dog of the week is Sawyer Robertson. We already covered him. 440 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's having a Heisman start to the season. They've played 2 Power 5 teams. I guess SMU, they're in the ACC. 2 Power 4 teams since there's only 4 conferences now. And he's had a great stat line in both. Hopefully their defense can turn it around and Baylor might have a chance at the Big 12 because they've not looked great on defense. But Sawyer Robertson, absolute dog.
Locked in 24/7 Lubbock Texan right there. Jason, would you like to comment on your dog of the week? Do we have one?
My dog of the week would just be South Florida. Huge win. I know we talked about it last week, but big dub. We like to see it. We love to see the 18.5, I think is where it closed at point. Dog coming into the swamp against Billy Napier, the legendary Billy Napier for UL Lafayette. That's a big win for them, and it's a big transition into this week's game for them against Miami because that's 2 top 25 wins, although Boise State's probably not going to be back in it. I do want to come back to your game, Brendan. That play. Why is it one-on-one, no safety over the top with that much time left in the game? Are they literally? It's like they went into Madden, chose a man-to-man with a bunch of with 4 guys blitzing, and then everybody was underneath, just in little what do you call them? Hook zones, and then they were all playing underneath coverage. They did not want to give up that first down, but they apparently were not worried about the touchdown.
Yeah,
No.
that play's very interesting. There were 30 seconds left. It was 3rd and 9, and they just allowed him to have one-on-one coverage and gave him the deep ball instead of just keeping everything in front of you. I mean, they were only up 3 at the time, so I guess you're trying to keep him from kicking a field goal. But you gotta. Who cares if they kick a field goal? They might not make it anyway. You cannot allow that big play.
Yep.
No, you absolutely can't. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's start from the top on this game. Obviously, I'm gonna actually dive in a little bit further on that game later in the episode. Let's start with Michigan and Oklahoma first. We'll dive into that game because there's some stuff that I want to say from a clip from CBS Sports. I would have claimed it, but I'm an honest man. I did not find this info as CBS Sports from a TikTok. But let's go in it. Probably in the biggest game of the week, Michigan versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Michigan 24-13. Felt pretty handedly that Oklahoma held them pretty much the whole game, especially in the first half, up 14-0 at halftime. Oklahoma was up. Mateer definitely showed some different things on the opening drive. Touchdown, little runs, hitting the open man when coverage was definitely not there. Oklahoma offense just looks flat out dangerous, and certain situations against certain defenses, and they make defenses look foolish in my opinion. Deion Brooks caught the not caught the touchdown, but they had an end around for the touchdown, the opening drive. Good play call overall by Ben Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator over there at Oklahoma. Really felt like he made a lot of good plays throughout the game. And he called a great game in my opinion. Definitely had the Michigan defense on their toes throughout, but Michigan had a hell of a third quarter and battled back as best as they could. But DJ Metcalf had an interception for Michigan in the first quarter, which kind of had Mateer a little off his game. And then Michigan was 1 for 5 for third down first half, I believe. Missed the field goal with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Mateer had a rushing touchdown to end the half for Oklahoma, which caused them to go up 14-0. And it really felt like Oklahoma was really putting the gas pedal down. And then the third quarter happened, and Bryce Underwood came alive a little bit. But Haynes would actually, the running back for Michigan, would have a 75-yard gallop for a touchdown in the third quarter, making it 14-7. And then Mateer had another rushing touchdown late in the third. And it really felt like, Oklahoma was in control of the game. And then Oklahoma had a muff punt in the third and recovered by Michigan, ends up with a Michigan field goal off the turnover. And then
Special
Michigan.
teams, huge. Special teams, huge. It just shows you special teams can make or break a game from beginning to end. And those are the kind of guys that don't get in on the regular plays of the game that you will never even talk about until something goes wrong or a great play is made. That's why you got to do your job. That's what they say. Go ahead.
Plus, special teams can bring momentum to a game, and that's when I really felt like the game could flip. Obviously, another field goal by Michigan late in their late on the Oklahoma side. Couldn't really finish the drive. Actually, Underwood McCauley, former Hoosier, Indiana Hoosier, that set up that field goal, making it 21-13 Oklahoma. And then Mateer overthrew a receiver, causing Oklahoma to kick a field goal and actually missed it early in the fourth, which definitely gave momentum to Michigan. And then they had a late drive by Oklahoma in the fourth. They kicked a field goal, making it 24-13 with 1:44 left, and that was all she wrote. Oklahoma D limited Michigan to 3 of 14 on third down entire game, and Michigan was held to 288 yards total. That number is really shocking to me. Do we feel like the coaching from Michigan is a little in question, David, with the play calling on the offensive side of the ball with Underwood?
I guess we could say that it's a bit questionable. They gave him the opportunity to throw plenty, and I'm not sure that that's the right move. So he threw 24 times, only completed 9 passes. Not what you want, but at the same time, he's a true freshman making a start on the road in week 2 against a top 25 team, a team with a lot of tradition, big stadium, rabid fan base, and you're not always going to have the best games in those situations. So they tried to stick with the pass. It didn't work. They actually got the ball back down 21-13 and had a chance to drive down the field and score. They got a first down, and then the next play, Underwood got sacked and 2 incomplete passes after that, punted it back. Then Oklahoma comes down and scores and takes the lead, and that was it for the game. But honestly, that number of like 288 total yards for Michigan, 75 of that came on the first play of the third quarter from Justice Haynes. So, take away the big play. I know you can't really do that, but in totality, the Oklahoma defense really held Michigan at bay. It didn't let them have any other big plays. And I think time will tell if Oklahoma's good or if Michigan maybe isn't that great. And I think that might be the thing. And going back to your question about coaching, I don't know that Sharon Moore is the guy. He kind of just lucked into the job based on a cheating scandal. So we'll see. But Big Ten's not that tough, so we'll see how they do. But yeah, I don't love their coaching.
I got a question. So you guys, I watched the game. I wasn't able to watch it. I see 9 for 24. When I look at 142 yards on 9 completions, that's a good yardage per completion. So was Underwood missing throws out of the other 15, or do you guys feel like they were trying to throw it too far downfield and not taking the nice completions? But it also could be that they set it up for easy completions and maybe he was, slinging it on his own.
I really felt like the defensive line of Oklahoma was harassing Underwood the whole game. Underwood was running for his life most of the game. And then I really felt at certain times he got out of the pocket when it wasn't really necessary, in my opinion, which, I mean, he's a true freshman, so that's
I was
hard to
gonna say, yeah, sounds like
coach
a
a
young
guy,
guy.
yeah, to stay in the pocket. And even Mendoza, who's a junior, struggles with that at Indiana, in my opinion, the games that I've watched. So I really feel like if Underwood just gets comfortable in that pocket and the O-line protects him, he could do a lot of damage. I do agree with David. I don't know if throwing the ball that many times when your running game is that successful is the right thing to do. I don't think it is, in my opinion. I would continue to pound the rock when you have that much success, especially in early in the third quarter in a 75-yard gallop. I mean, I don't know why you would go away from that.
Yeah, if I look at the running stats for Michigan, and we've always known Michigan as a big school that likes to run the ball and take control. Did they go any play action at all? I mean, that's what I would expect with a guy, or no?
They did. I just felt like it was very generic play action plays, and it was very vertical down the field. I mean, yes,
Uh,
You have McCauley on the right side, but like, I mean, he was getting double coverage. I mean, most of the night. I mean, the safety was over there helping him. The cornerback. So it's just like that's easy to guard at the end of the day. And when no one's biting on the play action, it's hard to
yeah.
find someone open.
So maybe he's struggling with the play action. Maybe he's not selling it enough. But he's 18, 19. He'll learn. He'll get better. You were talking about his rolling out of that pocket too early. I mean, we see guys in the NFL do that still. So he's got time. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, especially for a freshman, they don't like to go through many reads. They're a one-read quarterback a lot of times this early on. You don't get your read, you're going to try to escape the pocket, make something happen. Yeah, that's not always going to be successful, especially when the defense has the clamps on like they did. To go on the play action point, take away that 75-yard run, and it did come out of nowhere because Michigan had no success on the ground in the first half. If you take away that run, they averaged 2.2 yards per carry on the game. So
Yikes.
even if you're trying
Yikes.
to play action, like the defense probably wasn't really respecting the run a whole lot. And then a lot of Underwood's passes were just deep balls, though. I mean, I feel like he probably could have checked it down a time or two. And he, even sometimes when it's 3rd and 15, would you love to get the first down? Yes. But sometimes you just got to check it down, let your running back or tight end try to make a play, get a few yards and flip field position. That is sometimes just as important as converting I mean, you'd love to convert it, but if you try to convert it and you throw it down the field and throw an interception or incomplete, you're losing the field position battle, you're losing the turnover battle. And, that's something a freshman it's going to take him some time to learn that. And, they've got I think they got an easy game coming up with their interim coach, Biff Poggi, former Charlotte. He's also like a millionaire or billionaire. He might be a billionaire, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. So
Who?
Sharon's gonna Biff
Who's a
Poggi.
billionaire?
Biff
Biff Tannen?
Poggi. No. Biff. Hold on. Let me figure out how this guy made all his money.
Did he have the almanac?
He may. You know what?
He may have.
He was a hedge fund manager.
Hedge fund manager.
It made him a multimillionaire
with an almanac. I mean, Biff. What?
Little sketch.
Only seen that name once, and he had an almanac.
Biff is
It's true.
a heck of a name. I love that name. What a name. All right. Moving on to probably our favorite game and probably one of our favorite teams to talk about on this podcast. South Florida versus Florida. South Florida with the upset 18-16. This was a very good defensive game and a very good game coached by the University of South Florida coach. Florida in the first quarter had a field goal, making it 3-0 with 5:39 to go in the first. A couple good run options to get down the field with Lagway, and they really were pretty successful on with the run early on. And then USF came right back with a 30-yard field goal to start the second quarter. Got down the field by successfully running down the field with their running backs and really had success with the run, just like Florida did. And then Florida had another field goal, making it 6-3 mid-second quarter. And then Florida moves down the field late in the second quarter to make another field goal, 9-3. Not touchdowns, field goals.
Brendan, were these long field goals? Were they short field? Like, were they just not getting it done in the red zone, or
they weren't getting it done in the red zone because South Florida's defense is elite, as we've talked about, and so. They were definitely short field goals. One of them was pretty long, and I'll get to it later on, but it was a pretty big boot. And then 9-3, making it 9-3, and then Brown from South Florida breaks away from the rush from the D for a 25-yard scamper, and then that ends up being another field goal in the second quarter, right before half, 9-6. Is
6-9.
Score. Yes, 9-6. Florida with the lead.
6-9.
6-9. As
6-9. What?
Might be a little biased for South Florida, and then Chenault with an interception for USF. Lagway tried to do way too much, causing a turnover for that, and then Brown to Singleton for USF had a 66-yard bomb of a throw with 2 minutes to go in the third, making it 13-9 South Florida. And then Florida actually had a high snap, special teams, for the punt, causing a safety to end the third, 15-9 USF. And then Lagway to Wilson off a quick slant. It was a very good drawn-up play by the offensive coordinator for Florida, making it 16-15. And then it actually set up to make up a nice punt return from Florida, and a penalty on USF for pushing a player when he was already out of bounds. You don't need to push him. He was already out. It was a bad penalty. Terrible if you watch the highlight on that. And then South Florida ends up missing a 58-yarder, just short. I mean, literally just short. If you put a little more boot on that with 2:52 to go in the fourth. And then South Florida goes down the field, and Gramatica with a 20-yard game-winning field goal, making it 18-16. UCF wins the game. A lot of field goals and a lot of spitting happened in the game in this one. The spitting was who was that against, Kenny? I forget what team that
We got
was.
guys
but
spitting?
We do have guys spitting.
Like Jalen Carter?
Yes, Florida did spit. You know,
Dude,
besides
that's
the
almost
shoe.
as bad as Marco Wilson.
Yeah, it was a bad penalty. I forgot about that, Kenny. Thank you for shouting that out.
What?
Yeah, that cost them a game too, throwing a shoe. But I really felt like it was a very defensive game. I really feel like when South Florida's offense needs to show up, they just do it in the nick of time. But I really feel like this defense for South Florida is just absolutely fun to watch. In my opinion, they're the most dominating defense that I've seen on film this year, for sure, against Boise State and now against Florida. Now they get to go up against Miami. I'm excited for that game even more now. I'll definitely be tuning in to watch that. What are your guys' thoughts of South Florida pulling up the upset Jay and David.
Yeah, I mean, we called this. USF is an attacking team. And yeah, they didn't have the most success on offense, but they did drive the ball a few times and they got the points they needed. You don't always have to be flashy if you get enough points to beat the other team. And playing at Florida, not the easiest thing for the guys at USF. You know, they're not used to that big of an environment, but I think they've got a legit team here. They've got another huge test this week at Miami. Gonna be tough. And I think right now they're at the top of the G5 playoff representative rankings. It's probably them, Tulane. James Madison did kind of show out against Louisville, kind of. But they are the number one team right now, and I think that shows by the rankings too. I think they're the only G5 team who's even ranked at this point. So big win for the Bulls.
I'm going to put you in a scenario. You just got in the time machine, but you're not going into the future to get an almanac. You're going back in time, right? You're going back in time to a time where LSU was playing Florida and LSU got stopped. And unfortunately, a player's shoe fell off. Could be very bad for a player if he starts running again or can't find his shoe. But why wouldn't you be able to find your shoe, Brendan? Why would you not be able to find your shoe? Except for Marco Wilson comes out of nowhere and takes your shoe to throw it downfield in a power move, I guess, while his teammate looks at him and says, "What the heck are you doing?" To put it nicely, I seriously doubt those were the words, because then I see some yellow laundry coming on the field, and we shouldn't be doing laundry on the field because we got a game going on. But what did the laundry do? The laundry led to a big field goal through the uprights for LSU to win. Now, let's fast forward. Now we're back in the time machine. We're going forward. We're back in the DeLorean. And you got Brendan Bett decides it would be a good idea to spit on the Bulls offensive lineman Cole Skinner. The refs immediately ejected Bett and tagged Florida with the 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. So some more laundry. All right, this sounds familiar. Where are we going with this? Then it brings South Florida all the way to its own 39. All right, it's still back there, but we got time. Then we got a 29-yard completion from Brown to Isaac, all the way to the Florida 32, which inevitably ends up being the game-winning field goal shortly thereafter by our boy Grammatica, and not just any Grammatica, Martin Grammatica's son. What does that sound like, boys? Sounds like a lot of similarities. Tell me, Brendan. You're smiling. What do we think?
You got to learn from your own history.
I'll just never forget. Me and Jason were at Toyota Music Factory in DFW, Dallas Fort Worth, in Irving. If you guys really want to know the exact location, and we're about to leave, and I see a shoe just being thrown on the TV, and I said, "Jason, this man just threw a shoe and caused a penalty. You guys got a first down."
I don't even think I was looking. I think I was upset. I think
yes, you weren't. You wanted to not watch the TV. You were like, your back was to it because you were already upset. The team's gonna lose, and then the shoe was thrown, and you guys are revived.
I mean, we talked about big games. That's another one. LSU, Florida. I mean, you look forward to that game. It's another big one, and coming up, but we'll talk about it later.
That's right. What a game, though. Really excited for South Florida to continue their run this season. Really excited. We'll talk about it later, but really excited for that Miami game. We'll pick that apart later. But I really think they have a solid chance with that defense to beat them. I'm actually going to move on to a Hail Mary game situation. Arizona State versus Mississippi State. I mean, this was a heck of a game, guys. Just a lot of Mississippi State dominated in the beginning, and then Arizona State just came alive in that second half and tried to make a run. Shaping Evans for 48 yards, little seam vertical from Mississippi State, and Shaping just hit him right in stride on the opening drive for Mississippi State to go up 7-0. And then Mississippi State knocks down a field goal late in the first, making it 10-0. And then Shapen to Thompson for another 47-yard touchdown bomb from Shapen to go.
One of the most beautiful deep balls you will see. Go watch the highlight, people. He throws this ball up. Receiver has plenty of time to turn his shoulders, look both ways, and then it just falls right in the breadbasket.
I was really impressed by how Shapen was making these throws look effortless in the pocket. Yes, the wide receiver was open, but hitting a guy that far out in stride, I mean, it wasn't overthrown or underthrown. It was right there. All he had to do was catch it.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect of a throw. Was really impressed by Shapen throughout this whole game. And then Mississippi State obviously goes up 17-0 at this point, and Levitt's trying to make things happen, but Mississippi State just had their way and dressed him, and he couldn't find anything and threw an interception mid-second quarter. And then Arizona State was finally to move the ball a little bit late in the second quarter, was able to get a 51-yard field goal to end the second quarter and go in the half. And Mississippi State was up 17-3. And then Arizona State just decides to run the ball in the beginning of the after halftime, and Udo just looks pissed off and goes for a run on a touchdown, just looking mad at the world, wants to win this game. So 17-10 at that point, and then Levitt to Tyson for a little 2-yard pass there with 13 to go in the fourth, making it 17-all. And then ACU, Arizona State was running down the field late in the fourth to get that field goal with 1:38 to go, making it 20-17. And then Mississippi State with the final possession, and Shapen is just ready to win this game, focused, determined, and wants to win. And Shapen to Thompson again with the same vertical double move, seam route, 58-yard pass, bomb right in stride to him. And I'm going to talk about this play a little bit. You guys talked about it a little bit in the beginning of the podcast. Obviously, there was no help over the top, but Arizona State, as CBS Sports would say, lives by the blitz and dies by the blitz. Do you guys know the last time when Arizona State all out blitzed? Who did they play and lose against?
Oh, Texas in the playoff.
Texas in the
Horrible play call
playoff.
on that one too. Oh, that was bad.
Killed them. So shout out to CBS Sports on that TikTok. I found that very interesting. It was the same freaking all-out blitz, and it killed them.
So are they living and dying, or are they just dying?
A lot of dying.
A lot of dying. Yeah.
Unfortunately, rest in peace, all-out blitz at Arizona State. Not going to have any more hope.
No, a lot of dying. So if I was a defensive coordinator, I would live by the blitz and die by the blitz too. That's my philosophy on that, because if you get the guy, game's over.
I like a good blitz, but I like a good blitz with some safety help.
Yep.
We can't just go six man blitz and everybody else is all for themselves in man coverage. I like a good zone blitz. That's my favorite.
I'm risky. I like the play call.
With 30 seconds left, 3rd and 9, they need a field goal. It's not even a guarantee. This ain't the NFL. They need to get more than just to the 40-yard line. It's not Chris Boswell kicking.
They were inches away from getting him. Inches. Like,
you know what? But guess what? Then they scored.
I'm with the DC on this. That's how I would play it. Obviously, you guys disagree with that, but I'm excited to see David
with the DC.
I gotta be with the DC. That's how I would run a defense.
Same guys last year.
It's gotta be.
You gotta learn from your mistakes, even if it's not the same guy. It's the same head coach. The head coach has to step in sometimes. It's about situational football. I love getting some pressure on the QB. I'm all for getting some pressure on the QB. But you got to play smart situationally. And in that situation, 3rd and 9, just play it back a little bit. You can blitz a couple guys, blitz a linebacker here, blitz a corner off the edge here. whatever. But you got to keep the ball in front of you. You cannot allow the one-on-one on the outside and allow him to take that deep shot.
And you don't even have to do a whole blitz. You could just mix up the scheme and have just an overload on one side with the guys that are rushing and
100%.
still rush only 4. I mean, there's a lot of various things they could have did that was not what they did. And for me saying I didn't even get to watch a lot of football this weekend, I saw that play though, because that was all over. And let me ask y'all this: did they have any timeouts left? Arizona State when this play happened?
I don't think they did.
Mississippi State?
Oh, okay.
Or
No, Arizona State.
Oh, I don't
There's
know.
a reason I'm asking, because David
Yeah.
mentioned head coach has to step in, but if the play call came in and they didn't have any timeouts, they may have just been. He may have just said, "All right, we got to let this
Warming up on the
let this be."
sideline. 2
Oh, they
plays to
got
get
2.
9
They got
yards
2
to keep the game going.
timeouts.
Pressure was picked up. Shapen,
No.
wide open, caught across the middle. Thompson.
Okay,
Touchdown.
hold up. Do I see not 1 but 2 timeouts for Arizona State, and how many do I see for Mississippi State? And you're running an all-out blitz,
To get
or is it
9
an
yards to
all-out
keep
blitz?
the game going.
Dude, this play is crazy. They had 2 guys in zone coverage underneath. Where is
Yeah.
the help over the top?
What is this? What is this, y'all? David, I'm with you. It's like I'm telling you, it's literally like one of those plays in Madden or college football where it's all man coverage with 2 guys in the hook zone. Why do you care about the hook zone? Just keep it in the. And if anything, you're keeping them from the sideline. They got no timeouts. I know in college that the clock's going to stop when if they get a first down, but no, I don't. I hate that play call.
How many times is Dillingham going to lose that way, though?
At least
Twice.
2.
At that point, why wouldn't you just call a timeout? Because you know you have 2 people under the coverage.
If I'm the head coach there and that's the play call that I hear in my freaking headphones, I guarantee you I'm running straight to that freaking ref the moment I see the offense line up, see that formation. I want that timeout.
Yeah,
and then I'm going to tell the DC, draw something up. Draw something else up, or we're just going to run a regular cover 3 or something.
That was just bad. That was some bad football.
Underrated thing about this game that people aren't talking about. The drive right before that, it was 17-all, and Arizona State got the ball with about 10 minutes left, and they drove down the field. They had the ball for 8 minutes and 54 seconds. They got to the 3-yard line, first and goal from the 3. They ran it 3 times, got stuffed. Goal line stand for Mississippi State to keep it. They held them to a field goal, so that makes it a 20-17 game. If that doesn't happen, if Arizona State takes a touchdown lead, things probably play out way differently. I mean, Arizona State may have just sent the blitz either way, but big goal line stand there. That way you give your team a shot. You don't even have to get a touchdown then. Obviously, it breaks their way with that, but it just takes a little bit of pressure off the offense when you're only down 3 instead of down 7 with a minute and a half left or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's true, David. Good.
Another thing we got to consider about Mississippi State. Are you guys ready to live in a world where they're ranked?
Let's see. Who can I get rid of to bring in Mississippi State?
They are currently the 7th team receiving votes, and the next 2 weeks they play Alcorn State and Northern Illinois, both of which will be wins. So they will be 4-0 heading into a game at home against Tennessee in week 5. That could be a huge game. Obviously, I said earlier, I don't think Mississippi State's going to be a contender in the SEC, but there is going to come a time in 2 weeks where they're ranked only because they're 4-0 with the win over Arizona State, which great win. I'm not discounting that at all. But they're going to beat Alcorn State, Northern Illinois, and get ranked just off the fact that they're 4-0 and some other teams are going to drop out by losing.
And another directional school.
Can't trust them.
I think you're right, David. Plus, the media loves to have some ranked matchups for their TV broadcast too. Brendan, before we move on to the next segment, if we're done talking about the Mississippi State game, I want to come back to the South Florida game real quick because we just love this game so much. I don't want to not give it the love it deserves. We were talking earlier about how important special teams is, and you were talking about how good the defenses were in this game. But I forgot to mention during my spiel that I took from that Kenny helped me get from a little shout out to Yahoo Sports for some of that info about what happened. I see a lot of good special teams plays. And not just a lot of good ones. I see a big one that's bad. I mean, the only reason you even had to put it on here is because it ended up in a safety. That ended up being the difference in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, just a reminder.
Special teams is really important. A lot of people don't think that it is, but I mean, you can mess up a game pretty good in special teams, or it can help you in a lot of ways in special teams by flipping the field when you punt it. So,
long snappers underrated.
Very underrated. The top ranked Texas long snapper actually follows us. Fun fact.
Long snappers get ratings now. I want ranks.
5-star going to Texas.
Let's talk to him. Let's talk to him. I want to hear him. I want to hear what he's got to say about being number one, a long snapper.
Yep. We'll get him on here sometime. We'll get him on here. He is a Texas commit. So
shout out to Powerball.
Yeah, and Missouri. Oh man. Yeah, 1.8 billion. That's freaking insane. Absolutely freaking insane. Honorable mention games of the week for week 3 or week 2. I apologize. Week two, not week 3. Mine was Baylor versus SMU. Baylor 48, SMU 45. I mean, just absolutely a lot of scoring. Zero defense in this one. Zero zilch, which makes me concerned for Baylor if they do want to make a run to the Big 12 championship. But SMU's defense was a little worrisome too. But definitely just two offensive powerhouses just going crazy. I mean, there was 70-yard passes, field goals going everywhere. Double OT victory, though, in the end by Baylor. My comments is Robertson always looked composed and ready, never shaky, just really locked in and wanted to win that game if you watch him on the sideline. Baylor's defense, as I talked about, looks a little shaky, but the SMU offense with Jennings is always dangerous. I mean, the offensive line is Baylor. It's just they were mauling the SMU defensive line throughout the game. But Jennings is pretty quick, and there's actually one trip. There was actually one play that he got tripped up even by the official. So the official ended up causing him to fall. Hate that for him, but man, you gotta watch out for those officials nowadays. But really felt like SMU could have stepped it up in several ways throughout the game. And then my ending comment is where's Baylor's defense? That was my takeaway from the game, and that's my biggest question mark of it. But really, I mean, just offensive powerhouse. Jennings threw for 295, 3 touchdowns, and then Robertson threw for 440 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 91.9 QBR. I mean, the fact that people do not have him on the top 10 Heisman race right now is absolutely insane to me. And there's polls out there where he's not even on them. He needs to be talked about. Dude's a baller. And I even in Lubbock here where I live, no one's talking about him. And I just really feel like he should be in that Heisman race and discussion, reporters and media and TV shows and podcasts. So yeah, talk about the boy. He's a baller. David, what you got is yours.
My honorable mention game this week is Illinois at Duke. I know, Brendan, you wanna say Illinois is not that great. They're one of only 2 top 25 teams to have a road victory in week 2. Now, most top 25 teams did not play on the road because they were playing East Texas A&M Commerce or whatever their name was. But Illinois did play on the road at Duke, big out of conference Power 4 matchup, and it was a close game early on, but Illinois took over in the second half. They outscored Duke 31-6 in the second half. And the crazy thing about this game is when you think about Illinois, when you think about Brett Bielema teams, you think dominant ground game. Now, they were good. They had 123 yards on the ground, but only 2.9 yards per carry. That was on 42 attempts. They had 123 yards. So not the success that you would typically see out of a Bielema coach team, but where they picked it up was Luke Altmaier. In the past, the one knock on Illinois is that they don't have the passing game, but here he goes 22 for 31 with 296 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the last time he played a Manny Diaz coach defense, which a little bit different talent because that was at Penn State, Altmaier had 4 interceptions and actually got benched in that game. So for him to come back against probably a similar defense, I would guess it's a pretty similar scheme, and have the type of day that he had.
Time out.
Whoa,
Time
similar
Scheme, bro.
Definitely
Scheme. He
similar
didn't
scheme.
say skill. Did not say skill.
Definitely a skill gap between Penn State 2 years
I was about
ago
to say.
and Duke now. Absolutely agree with you. There's a skill gap. Very similar scheme, I'm assuming, though. And sometimes quarterbacks struggle more with the scheme than they do with skill. I don't have an example of that off the top of my head, but some defenses can get carved up by certain by certain quarterbacks. This was a problem with Alabama for a while, where they couldn't contain scrambling quarterbacks. So yeah, they had the talent, but that scheme didn't work against a certain type of quarterback. So all I'm saying is Luke Altmaier righted his wrongs of how he performed a couple years ago. And he came up big, and Illinois, they look pretty good, and we're going to keep hyping them up so that we have a top 15 matchup in Bloomington in whatever that is, 12 days.
And to keep Brendan happy.
Prime time game
Prime
2,
time in Bloomington.
NBC. I'm ready for that game.
Let's go.
Jason, who's your honorable mention? Oh, wait, no one. Okay.
Go ahead. Move on.
No, he had an honorable mention earlier. He talked about Iowa.
That's
Iowa State.
true.
Big rivalry
That's true.
games.
You did.
Big rivalry guy.
That is true. I did. Brendan's just trying to call me out because, because it's fun that way. Yeah, you know what, Brendan? Your boys, the Iowa State Cyclones. It's always a tough matchup when these two teams meet up. Love to see a back and forth battle in the fourth quarter. I love to see a penalty that leads to Iowa's first touchdown. I mentioned I didn't get to watch a lot of football, but I saw that. Saw this game. I watched a lot of this game, and this was fun. Like you were mentioning, David, I love a good rivalry game. They're always close, even when one team could Iowa could get blown out by 30 points next week and maybe score 1 touchdown and 0 field goals, or 3 field goals and no touchdowns, and lose by 30. But whenever they play the Cyclones, it's going to be close no matter what.
It's true.
Brendan,
they hate each other.
Can we get a spot check on how you're feeling about your Cyclones these days?
It was a really tough game. They always play each other close. The under did hit, as we talked about. I believe the over and under was at 40.5. So that was a lot. Probably should have put some money on that one. But did not. Overall, I didn't watch too much of this game. I'll be honest with you on that. Watched the Indiana game against Kennesaw State.
You think that Kansas State win still looks good after Kansas State lost to Army? Who'd Army lose to?
Tarleton State, baby.
There we go. Oh, that's right.
We love the Tarleton State
That's
Texans.
right.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Kansas State at this point. They might be in shambles for the rest of the season, so they look rough. Their quarterback does not, though. I really like the quarterback Johnson, but yeah, they're not looking good in Pullman, Kansas, I believe, is where they're located.
Oh no! It's
No?
Little Apple, man.
Oh, Manhattan. That's
Manhattan,
right.
Kansas, the Little
Manhattan.
Apple.
Yeah. One of our actually people we grew up with went to Kansas State, David, but we'll not shout her out on this podcast.
Yep.
But
All right, move along.
moving right along.
Should I ask?
Oh, you don't.
No.
We'll talk about it later. That's a funny
It's kind of
story.
one of those situations. Yeah. I wouldn't want you to shout it out either.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I won't do that today.
I got one more thing before we move on to our last segment here.
Yeah.
Going back to the Heisman odds for Sawyer Robertson. Two big names that still have better odds than him to win it. Sam Levitt just threw for like 89 yards at Mississippi State.
Arch.
Well, Arch obviously has better odds. There's many more names than two. I'm just highlighting two that should not be above him in R.
Yeah, definitely not Levitt.
Levitt, no. Also DJ Lagway. You can't score 16 points at home against South Florida and have better Heisman odds than the guy who just put up 440 on the road at SMU.
In a big comeback win.
Exactly.
I mean, wins matter, and Florida did not have that.
I might put some money on him. I'm
Plus
dead serious.
6,000 right now.
Brendan said he's about to take a road. Brendan said he's about to take a road trip.
Little $10 on that ain't gonna hurt nobody.
And right behind him, Byron Brown, USF. If they pull off the win against Miami,
hey Brendan,
look out.
I'll be somewhere next week. You let me know.
I might let you know on that.
We can get physical tickets.
Physical tickets. I love good tickets.
We love to hold our physical tickets. Go
That's
Rams!
right.
Shout out.
Go Rams, baby. Super Bowl champs. Won us a lot of money that year. Plus 1,200, 1,600. What was
Plus
it?
1,100.
Oh,
wait, no, 12.
I thought it was 12.
No, it was 1,100 because
1,100.
when we cashed it at the casino, we got 600 even. Yeah.
And they said nice hit. Shout out to the boys of the casino at the books.
Shout out LeBurge.
Yeah, LeBurge, baby. All right, we're on to week 3, and got a pretty good slate this week, boys. A pretty good slate. I'm gonna go over the games real quick. We got Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson is a 4.5 point favorite. Over under is sitting at 52.5. I'm just going to go down all these games real quick. Number 6 Georgia versus Tennessee, pretty big game. Tennessee is a 4.5 point dog. Over and under is 50.5. We have Florida. Oh, they look rough. Versus LSU Tigers. Our Tigers are 9.5 point favorites. Over and under sitting at 50.5 again. Seems like a trendy number there. 50.5 for over and unders. Number 16, Texas A&M University goes into South Bend at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 6.5 point favorite. Over and under sitting at 48 and a half on that. And then our UCF, University of South Florida, 18 versus Miami.
What?
Whoa,
you want to repeat that?
USF.
You want to repeat that?
I said USF,
Come on.
didn't I?
No, you did not.
No.
You said the other
you're shouting out
directional
Taven.
Florida school.
University of South Florida. University of South Florida, not
You're
UCF.
shouting out the old national champions.
University of South Florida, 18 versus at Miami, number 5. Miami is a 16.5 point favorite. Over and under is 54.5. It does, Jason. Wisconsin at Bama. Wisconsin's a 20.5 point dog. Over and under is sitting at 46.5. I have Vandy at number 11, South Carolina. South Carolina is a 5.5-point favorite. Over and under is 47.5 on that one. And then I have the Arkansas Hogs at Ole Miss 17. Ole Miss sits at a 8.5-point favorite, or over and under is 62.5. Oregon State at Texas Tech University. Texas Tech number 21 is a 21.5-point favorite against the Beavers. Over and under is at 57.5. Which ones stick out to you guys on this one besides South Florida, obviously?
I'll tell you what. There's one game here that sticks out like a sore thumb because it does not deserve to be here. Oregon State is trash. They just lost at home to Fresno State. They have zero business even going to Lubbock and playing this game. Texas Tech minus 21.5 is the lock of the week, not the century. Don't want to go that far. Lock of the week, Texas Tech minus 21.5. No business being on here other than the fact that Oregon State's playing a ranked team this week.
I completely agree with you on that, David. They have no business coming to Lubbock. Texas Tech looks really good. If that offensive line can protect Morton is showing the ability to hit his wide receivers. The run game is being really efficient. Obviously, they haven't played anyone too great. I mean, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and then Kent State. But that's really tough to see how good you are after those two games. But I really feel like they're just going to blow this one open again. And they're stacked on the defensive side of the ball. Their D looks really good. Offensively, this is a game they're going to put it together, and I expect them to win by 35 or more.
There's three things I want to shout out that are on this list that really stand out to me. The first one is, David, you were mentioning earlier, why the hell Tennessee jumped 7 spots. Now I realize what it is. It's based off of our TV broadcast. We got to get 6 versus 15 on there, not 6 versus 22. That doesn't look as good. So not the odds on it. I don't really care about it as far as that goes. That's one of those you watch and you just enjoy the game as it goes. The next one I want to point out is the USF Miami game, 54.5 on the over-under. Okay, so we're talking about South Florida's great defense, and Miami had a good game last against Notre Dame. But I mean, even their last game, they only put up 45. They only put up 45 against Bethune Cookman, I think, is who they played. But I don't see this reaching 54.5. And then the last thing I'll shout out is South Carolina versus Vandy. South Carolina is a tough place to go play a football game, and that's a team that's playing really well. I like the 5.5 for South Carolina.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Jason, on that. I really do like South Carolina at 5.5 as well. Really feel like it's time for Sellers to just let it loose, man. Let it out. Have a game. Just throw that ball. Run. Beamer needs to call the right plays, in my opinion. Let the guy go. Let the guy run. Let him show his talent. So totally agree with you on that. I'm really looking forward to the Georgia-Tennessee game. I really feel like that's going to show us who's good, because they both haven't played anyone worth a lick. So Marshall is not worth a lick. Jason, stop it. Shout out Missouri State, by the way. First FBS win against Marshall.
Oh, where's that in your list of honorable mentions?
Shout out
Marshall's
Dalton
kicker,
Franks.
Marshall's
Coach
kicker,
Dalton Franks.
Marshall's kicker misses 2 26-yard field goals. You got to shout it out.
It don't matter.
Special teams.
Special teams is important, like we've talked about.
Quote of the broadcast. Of this whole thing that we've been talking about. Special teams.
No, we love Dalton Franks. He was the first interview we ever did, and when we rebooted, and he's been a friend of the program. And we're about to drop his buddy AJ Jordan an interview with him this coming week. So be prepared for that on Wednesday. So that'll be dropping the reels, and then the episode will be dropping that Monday. So
shout out.
Excited for that one. Yeah, we really love Dalton Franks on this. But shout out Missouri State, man. What a dub. Is there any other thoughts you guys have for week 3 before we head out?
I have one thought. There's a lot of interesting games where top 25 teams are on the road. Some of them were mentioned here, and
Yes.
especially on the road against unranked teams. So we got Oregon at Northwestern. Don't think that'll be a contest, but
No.
it's a road environment for Dante Moore.
True.
I would assume it's his first road start.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. We got Clemson at Georgia Tech coming off a struggle last week.
Yeah, I think they could
against
lose
Troy.
that.
I think they
Yeah.
could lose that too.
What's
Oklahoma's
the
playing
odds on that?
at
What's the odds on that one?
Temple.
Like, what's the spread
Clemson's
on that
actually minus 9.5.
game? Georgia
No.
Tech plus 9.5, but also that could be a trap game for bettors. It could be a trap game for bettors.
Right,
Betting on
yeah.
Clemson.
100%.
Yeah. I'm not betting
That's
against
true.
Clemson.
100%.
Sorry, you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just a couple other ones. Oklahoma's playing at Temple. Makes 0 sense why they're playing at Temple, but they are, and that probably won't be a close game, but still something to look forward to. And then Iowa State at Arkansas State, another one that makes no sense. What are we doing here? Why are we playing on the road at Arkansas State? Did you say
Arkansas State?
Invite them over. No, Iowa State at Arkansas State.
Oh, okay.
Your boys, the Cyclones.
Dude.
It's a
It
practice
makes no
game.
sense.
You gotta
What are we
warm up.
doing?
It's a practice
Well, they
game.
better hope they don't lose. Arkansas State could be dangerous. Watch out.
I was gonna say because Arkansas
Rebels.
State played Arkansas this past week, and it was actually pretty close. Like the first half, I think. Second half, they came out and that was the
they
first
ended
time
up
ever.
losing
That's
by
what I thought.
42.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the
First
last
time
one
they
is
ever
Utah
played, too.
plays at Wyoming. Another one that
Yeah.
makes 0 sense. Why are these teams going on the road to play at teams not in Power 4? What are we doing? The schedule making across country needs to be tightened up a little bit. And that's the take-home message from this week.
Tighten up the schedule, David says. Tighten up the schedule. I love it.
Speaking of teams, big Power 4 schools on the road, we forgot to mention, Brendan, the Bobcats at home getting it done against West Virginia.
That is true, Jason.
In a Peden Stadium or Peden, I don't know how you say the name. I'm guessing it's Peden. I'm not an expert. It's Peden. All right, that's the stadium name. Sold out crowd, highest attendance, and they get it done against the Mountaineers. And you had them last week, so shout out Brendan.
I did. I had Ohio. Felt good about that one. Ohio looks really good. I feel like they're gonna be in the MAC championship. Probably against another Ohio school.
Toledo.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stole your.
No, you're good. I
thought you were blanking. I was.
No, I was. That's why I was like another Ohio school. So I appreciate it. But
I mean, the odds are in your favor in that one. We've talked about
that.
We'll have to save that for another episode.
We will. There's a lot of MAC schools in Ohio. I'll just say that. But we appreciate you tuning in and listening, watching. Whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, we appreciate the support. Whether likes, shares, anything like that, we appreciate it. Follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube at 5ALF Podcast, and then like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. We appreciate the support and anything like that. So we'll see you on the next one. Peace.